right, it's grand finals time for the Americas EPT Cup, and you know that what that means. We're on Europe because, well, I mean, this is the finals we all expect, and pretty much every single one of these EPT Cups at this point. In the lower left-hand corner of Solaris, we have a MaxPax. And his opponent in the upper right-hand corner for Team Liquid, it's Clem. This is exciting. This is the first MaxPax versus Clem, at least that I'm aware of on these new maps. Europe just got the patch, so this is going to be the first European server MaxPax versus Clem on these new maps. And we have a new veto system as well, which is really exciting. ESL implemented it, and I think it's really cool. I'm going to definitely implement it for KSL, where they ban their first two maps, right? Each player bans a map, but then instead of just continuing to ban, each player picks a map. And then each player bans a map, and then they pick the last three. And it just means that you have to ban your least favorite map first, as usual, but then they get to pick. So they might pick whatever your next ban would have been. And that can make for much more interesting, I think, map interactions. And this is a cool thing about having 9 maps now. We can change things up like this, and I think that's a lot of fun. I'm really excited for that. I'm glad ESL is implementing that. Whoever thought of that was smart. Smart person. Good job. I'm happy about it. Of course, MaxPax versus Clem is always going to be good, but getting to see these guys on new maps with the new patch, too. We were talking about it in the last series, but that was a PVZ, not all that dissimilar from our last patch. But Clem's got a new Cyclone at his disposal. He has some, you know, there's some slightly different things that might affect this matchup later on when ghosts start to come out. EMP is not quite as good as it once was. Maybe we'll see MaxPax mix in some High Templar to try to get some storms off. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we're going to see here. Disruptor's also getting a little bit of a nerf. Might lend towards those High Templar being good to have in the army. I could see a use case for just having 1 or 2 High Templar around. Now, the patch did not change this at all. Clem is just really good with his Reaper Micro, and MaxPax just kind of giving that up by sending the Adept out on the map. But the Adept is going to get here just in time for this bunker to finish. I'm going to put this on YouTube, so if you're watching from YouTube, hello. Good to see you. Please hit that subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you enjoy these new maps, this new patch. I'm glad we're getting it now. The ESL Korea Cup and the Europe Cup were not on the new patch. It was all old maps, old patch, so kind of unfortunate. We had some really sick games in the Korea one last night that I really had just wished were on the new maps. But I'm glad we're getting this now. MaxPax, he's a big brainer, so it'll be cool to see how he deals with some of this new stuff. The new Cyclone has been talked about a lot, probably too much. But I think it's really going to change up the early game from the Terran. Or it could. I guess I should say that. It could really change up the early game from the Terran. And that could mess up a lot of Protosses. It could mean that they have to kind of shift their opening. And maybe it's not even the Cyclone that ends up doing a lot, but the fact that the Protoss player has to respect the Cyclone at all points. I don't know. So far, it doesn't seem like Clem's going to do anything more than get one Cyclone out. It's a little bit easier to get the Cyclone out and still go into other things like a Widow Mine drop, as we're seeing here, because you don't need that Tech Lab. But the Cyclone's not quite as powerful as it once was against things like Stalker Pressure, where I feel like it used to be one Cyclone stopped the Stalkers before Blink happened, so it was a lot stronger in the early game. Clem's going to hit with the Widow Mine drop, but MaxPax is poised to maybe do some pressure with a 3-gate Blink. Now, he has loved this 3-gate Blink for a long time. Wow, there's a lot of area back here for the medevac. Oh, that's a ton of area. Oh, I could absolutely see this being abused by just keeping stuff back here. This could be a very big deal on this map. We also have a big area by the main, which is pretty normal. But these are good things to know as we're here on Solaris. We have some speed fields in the middle of the map that don't affect a ton, but if you take these tight corners, you will get a speed boost. Just like in real life, you take a tight corner, boost that speed. You really feel the G-forces as you go around these little relics. It's kind of fun, actually. I love the implementation of the acceleration zones here. Here's MaxPax trying to get some stuff done. There are 2 siege tanks in the main, though, so he's just got to leave. Clem is very buttoned up right now. Oh, a couple probes go down. 3rd probe will fall before the Widow Mines are cleared up. Did that medevac die as well? Yes, it did. 3 probes, a little bit of lost mining time for 2 mines and a medevac. Not necessarily worth it for Clem. But not the end of the world. Just a little bit of harassment, as you are expected to see in this matchup. MaxPax getting into Colossi now. Clem's still playing very defensively against this, knowing the possibility of MaxPax putting the pressure on is pretty high. He hasn't scouted the 3rd base either. I'm sure by this point he's expecting it to be there, but it's always good to know what your opponent is doing instead of guessing. MaxPax could be pulling a hero and going all in on 2 bases, you know? MaxPax tries to focus down that Cyclone again, but again it stays alive. Getting repaired back up by the SCVs. Stim combat shields almost done here. And with a couple medevacs popping out, Clem's absolutely going to have the ability to poke out on the map with this. He's going to unsiege his tanks. Salvage one of the bunkers. And try to push these stalkers back. The prism? I don't know where the prism is, actually. Did the prism go home? Oh, no, it's floating up to the north side. Thinking about getting into that base. Scan goes down to see if this base is here. He sees it is not, and Clem probably just going to head towards this base, assuming that the 3rd is there. Stalkers. Well, those stalkers were on the wrong side of the wall. Wow, yeah, Cyclones is not nearly as good against stalkers as they once were. But there's 2 Colossi up this ramp, and that Cyclone's going to be the first thing to figure it out. It's very important that Clem knows that and can start to siege these tanks up. There's another Colossus on the way. MaxPax bringing the stalkers over. Trying to move up the ramp. Great force fields, though. Separating off a lot of these units. But the tanks on the low ground starting to really blast away as that army inches a little bit further forward. MaxPax staying back. He's got the prism over here, ready to warp in if he needs to, but it is just going to go down. Getting targeted down by the Stim Marines. Clem's push continues for now, but one of the tanks gets taken down. The super shield battery is on, and he should be able to take down this other tank as well. And with that, Clem's going to have to back up. MaxPax holding very nicely. Oh, eating a Widow Mine shot, but he's got a 4th base going down behind this. Still a very even game, though. Clem gets pushed home, but he kept a lot of the bio units alive. And he did trim off some of MaxPax's units. Killing that prism was pretty huge. Gonna go for a 4 Widow Mine drop. Is there an armory? No armory. So no permanent detection on those Widow Mines. A bit unfortunate for Clem. But it might be more unfortunate for MaxPax as these Widow Mines drop in. MaxPax, though, he's paying attention. He's a smart cookie. Some Widow Mines are going to get picked back up into the medevac. Zealot taking one for the team. At the same time, Zealots try to run in here, and MaxPax trying to push forward. He's got a really nice choke point here. It's going to be very tough for Clem to fight into this. SCV starting to get hit. Some beautiful force fields going down. Clem might have to try to surround this army. It's a dangerous move to try to make. 7 probes did go down on the other side of the map. MaxPax's economy is not as fantastic as I think he'd want it to be in this situation, but he is taking a great fight for right now. Catching up to these units that are in the speedy field is so difficult. This is a great use of the map by MaxPax. Finding this little push area here where he can funnel the bio. Clem is going to stim, though, and chase these units away. And the speed field So fast. So fast, those Stim Marines. MaxPax pulls back. Interested in what he's going to get into after this. It is going to be Blink DTs for now. Maybe trying to make this more annoying with the DTs coming in. Oh, is Clem going to notice the shadow? He does not, which means DTs are going to get right in the Prism. Going into the main, this one's going to walk into the natural, and there's one in the third as well. Oh no, this can get so much damage done. Clem forced to pull home to try to deal with this. Looks like he's handled a couple of them. 6 SCVs going down. Oh, the Vikings not doing their job, though. They have to go kill this Prism. Vikings, go kill that Prism. Oh, no. MaxPax is not going to be allowed to keep this alive, is he? No way, dude. Bit of a mistake here from Clem. He has not realized that that is still back there. Clem is going to take a 4th base, though, and MaxPax, he didn't lose a ton of workers, but honestly, his worker production hasn't been great. He's only on 66 right now, and I guess because he doesn't have the gases, that's fine saturation, but I'm not sure why he doesn't have the gases. I feel like you're going to want the gases here as the game gets later and later, and Clem's on more workers. He is taking his gases. His economy is going to be a bit stronger, and while the Ghost got a little bit nerfed, EMP, it's still pretty good. It's not like it does less shield damage. It just covers a little bit less of an area. But if you just lay them out over the army, it doesn't make that much difference anyways. We used to have a lot of overlap. I think for players like Clem, it's not going to make that huge of a difference. It's definitely going to be more impactful for lower level players who don't have a ton of ghosts. Maybe drop them all in the same spot instead of spreading them out nicely. I imagine it's not going to be that big of a difference in the hands of a Clem. MaxPax, though, with really nice vision here, spotting each sides of the army. But just because he's spotting the army doesn't mean he can do anything about it. He's got to get some reinforcements over here. He's moving down to the bottom side. MaxPax might let this base go if this army gets here. He does have a disruptor or 2 out. And yeah, he's just going to cancel it. Whoop. Clem's watching. Clem's watching. The radius of the Disruptor Nova has also been decreased a little bit. So, some slight changes affecting this stage of the game. I feel like the vast majority of the patch, though, has been pretty minimal changes that might affect the overall feel of the game. But in general, the game is going to be played the same way. I don't think we're going to see too many different compositions or strategies here. And Clem, he is going to try to push in. Drops the first EMP. Colossus will get taken down by the Vikings. Their EMP goes down this time on the Stalkers. Stalkers getting weakened a little bit. I think it is just the one Disruptor, though. And that Disruptors took a little bit of a nerf, but I feel like they're still pretty good. I think more than anything, Clem is actually just so good against Disruptors. That might be why MaxPax isn't building a bunch of them. He wants the more consistent damage dealers instead of the Disruptor Novas, which might or might not connect. But as I say that, first Disruptor Nova went out. The Colossi getting hit by the Vikings. The second one will go down as the Bio stutter steps backwards against the Zealots. MaxPax taking this 5th base to the upper left-hand side, but that Prism, it came back in, the Prism that lived, and now the reinforcements getting jumped on by the Blink DTs. Oh, and they are getting taken down. Clem in some trouble, but he is taking a fight in the middle of the map at the same time. MaxPax with a huge blunder here, going to lose 2 Colossi, but Clem doesn't realize it. He just turns and walks away, taking so much damage. Oh, both players mismicroing hugely, as I think they're both more focused up here, where the DTs are starting to get some big damage done. 13 SCVs, yes, but it's also a lot of the production, as we see, you know, the engineering bay is very exposed. That might go down before +3 finishes up, as well as Liberator range. At the same time, MaxPax trying to push in here, but it is a planetary. Is it wise to push in? He's going to pull back. Doesn't want to overcommit to that. So many supply depots going down. Fortunately for Clem, he just built a bunch of command centers. But now Stalkers are warping in to kill these Liberators that are popping out. This is actually kind of insane. Clem finally sending everything up here to deal with this, and he will kill everything in this main base. That's going to leave him very exposed down here. MaxPax, though, not finding anything actually worth killing, just poking at some command centers and a gas. So he wasn't able to take advantage of the fact that Clem's whole army was in his base and take down some SCVs or something like that. Whew. That was 2 ghosts. That was a nice little connection. MaxPax again going to push through this location. It worked for him earlier in the game. Why not again? This is dicey though. Clem not killing these rocks, I think, makes it a little bit harder for him to try to push down here. The Vikings do have a good position to take down this final Colossus. And with that Colossus gone, there's not a lot of splash damage for MaxPax. He does have the disruptors, but they get targeted down. A 3rd disruptor shows up and it almost kills its own immortal. SCV is getting pulled here. The Vikings are landing. Is there enough for Clem to hold on? His army supply is still okay, but he's lost so many workers. His economy is in the dumps. He's even going to lose the command center. Liberators coming out. That will be enough to push MaxPax back. And the disruptor keeps Clem off of his tail. Clem has enough CCs to just replace that base, but he doesn't have enough SCVs to replace that base. Only on 48 right now. He is getting into heavy Liberator play, but MaxPax, I think, is just going to try to circumnavigate these Liberators. And even catching a few here and there can be huge. Clem's ground army is not that massive at the moment. The supplies are very similar, but Clem has a lot of supply in these air units that can be useful in some situations. Widowmine's being very useful over here. The problem is, MaxPax in the meantime, he is taking a 6th base while he's keeping Clem on barely 4. Immortal paths the wrong way. These things can make the pathing a little bit funky. And even though it feels like Clem is trading nicely now, oh, big Disruptor Nova connects. It's like a Ghost and a Viking and a Marauder. Some huge EMPs, though, peppering this army. MaxPax feeling like he doesn't want to take this fight at the moment. Sends another Nova out to just zone Clem backwards. Clem's economy has not gotten any better. It's a real problem for him. He's got a lot of orbitals, though, so he can just drop mules for days. So that is something worth noting. While his economy is not great, he can drop a lot of mules. Blink forward here as Clem tries to leave, and MaxPax says no. He kills some of those Liberators. The Nova even getting some more kills. Clem, I think, having a tough time navigating his way on this map, figuring out where MaxPax is. And that's a big part of these new maps that I don't know that we talk about a ton, but having an idea of where your opponent's going to attack from, where they likely are, it takes a while to get that sort of feeling when you're playing against your opponent, and I think Clem's really struggling with it right now, getting caught off guard by MaxPax's army pretty consistently. I did see some probes going down. Oh yeah, Liberator range, very good here. Actually, nothing can hit this. It can only hit 1 patch, but that's kind of cute. However, MaxPax is going to dive in on top of this base, and I think he will get that planetary. Down it goes. Those +3 attack Stalkers, too good. And while these Liberators are very strong, MaxPax can do this really cool thing where he just runs away from the majority of them. He's going to pick off a couple of them and blink away. He's losing a lot on the retreat, though. Clem taking some good damage here. Ooh, the Disruptor Nova helping out quite a bit, but as the Liberators keep moving forward, oh, the Marauders stimming on top of these Immortals. The Stalkers going down next. Liberators need to siege up. They're still getting picked off. The problem is, guys, Clem has 11 SCVs. He is basically not mining. And while his army is good, he's going to go drop in the main base. Oh, no, he can't do it. Oh, God. Clem, no. GG. MaxPax beats Clem down, keeps the base count low, doesn't let him expand, and just keeps him off of his own side of the map. Beautiful job there from MaxPax. Some great moves from Clem as well. It's very interesting seeing them start to get used to these new maps. And it's only going to be more interesting. We have a best of 5 here. I'm really hoping we get all 5 games. We get to see more games from these guys on these maps. There's a lot of really interesting maps. And some that I've only seen once or twice. We did have the KSL a few days ago on the new maps, which was really nice. We played on the the Singapore region on the NA server to make sure we could do new maps and new patch. So that was very cool. We got to see a lot of really good players on that. Check out my YouTube channel if you want to check out some of the highlights from that. I know a few other people have cast those games as well. I think Winter and Loco both cast a few matches from that. Well, yeah, really excited to see these guys on here as well, because the European mind in StarCraft works different than the Korean mind in StarCraft. The metas are always a little bit different between the two regions. So it could be interesting to see what they're coming up with on different sides of it. You know, what the first instincts are. Wonder if we'll see any cheeky, like, Cyclone builds out of Clem or something. So far, honestly, every time I see the Cyclones, they kind of just get bopped. And even when it felt like they were quite good in the hands of Gumiho, didn't end up working out for him. We saw Jason earlier, Juggernaut Jason, also trying out some Cyclone action against the Zerg. And didn't work out particularly well. But we got a lot of different players here, you know, different styles. Be interested to see what they go for. We're on Site Delta now. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner, we have Sidestorm Gaming's MaxPax. And his opponent in the upper left-hand corner, Team Liquid's Clem. Let's take a look at Site Delta here real quick. We'll do a little zoom out and just see. We have the ramp down from the natural and then up to either potential third base. I haven't seen a map like this in a bit. Has there been a map that had this kind of valley out in front of the natural? This is interesting. I feel like it can make it a bit tougher to take a third base. You can have a lot of pressure from somebody right here that can make it tough to move out if somebody wants to go for a big two base kind of contain. I feel like this map could kind of do that well. Might see MaxPax go for something like that. Wouldn't be too surprised. Fourth bases on either side. Yeah, they kind of exist. It's interesting to take a look at some of the pathing that can happen here. Wait, is this? Okay, this is a different map than we were on earlier, but the middle of the map feels kind of similar. I don't remember what map that was. It's gonna be a bit before I can make these, commit these map names and you know whatnot to memory. I already struggle with 7 map pools, so 9, I'm gonna struggle a little bit more. But yeah, we've got this kind of small gap in the middle here with the vision blocker, making it really tough to take a fight in the middle of the map with these rocks especially. So we're gonna see a lot of pathing to the top and bottom sides, but even that, it's a little bit complicated. Lots of vision blockers around. You can go all the way around the top or bottom, but it's a very far path to travel to get around to your opponents. Could be very good for like Ling run bys and things. This feels like a very big map though. I don't know. I wonder what the map size is. Again, compared to some of the other ones I mentioned earlier, but I'd love to see a comparison. Like taking each map, just like the mini map even, and laying them over each other to kind of get an idea of how it compares to maps that are a little more solid in our minds. Not too surprised to see these maps at the very start here. These are fairly standard. It's kind of interesting though, because again, we did change how the vetoes work, so it's kind of interesting that we're not seeing any of the more, I don't know, out there maps on maps 1 and 2. This is nice for MaxPax. He's gotten a couple of kills already. Kills the Marine as well. Got to be a little bit careful as he is taking a lot of damage on these. And while the Reaper's pretty low, the Reaper can infinitely micro against these units. So they will go down. A couple of kills there for sure on both sides. Ooh, that Reaper tried to go for it, but yeah, MaxPax gets the kill. That makes it a little more worth it for MaxPax. Overall, pretty even trades. Oh, Cyclone says no. Cyclone says, actually, I'm going to finish off that Adept. And we have MaxPax. I know this is crazy. Going straight to Blink. This time, though, this is 4-gate Blink. He's got a Robo and 4 gates. Blink is about halfway done. He's going for it. Clem going for another Widowmine drop. But he's going to have to figure out what he's up against. Right now, he doesn't have almost any scouting. Yeah, he's barely seen anything. He had to keep that Reaper back at home. The Reaper went down. He doesn't have a follow-up scout until that Widowmine drop hits. And MaxPax already has a Prism on the way. I mean, MaxPax is going to hit. This Widowmine drop needs to get some big damage done. Clem's in some trouble, guys. I'll be honest. This is feeling a little bit dicey for Clem, because he still has no idea what he's up against. Now, MaxPax has been going for a lot of blink pressure against Clem. He just does this like every game. At least on the last patch he did. It'll be interesting to see how it works on the new maps, but this map feels very good for Blink Stalkers. This whole area is blinkable, and look at how exposed these tech labs are right now for Clem. I think this might be a learning opportunity for Clem. I'm a little bit worried for MaxPax, or for Clem rather, that MaxPax might just bop into him. That was 3 probes for the 1 Widowmine, and in fact this one could get 3 as well depending on the timing. Gets 2 more. MaxPax pushing in, but there is a bunker here. This is maybe not the best place for MaxPax to push in. He already lost the Stalker as well. Bit of an uncharacteristic mistake there. He's lost 2. And Clem still has this Widowmine in the medevac. He's got a single siege tank out on top of the ramp in case MaxPax decides to try to dive forward. SCV is getting targeted now. The bunkers are both full. Oh, this one getting hit. Another Stalker going down. MaxPax losing Stalkers left and right here. Oh, this is not like him. 4 Stalkers going down. Usually at this point of the game, I expect 0 Stalkers to have gone down. But this might be part of the, learning curve of the new maps, figuring out the vision range, where you want to blink to, how you want to blink. He is going to kill that bunker, jumps on the tank, but this is where the second tank comes into play, and it's already killed a couple of Stalkers here. Cyclone comes down the ramp, auto turret drops down, and I think Clem's doing a fantastic job holding right now. MaxPax's army supply is not fantastic, and while it is blink Stalkers, Stim and combat shields are on the way. Again, very exposed. If MaxPax decides to try to blink in here, he is going to bring the Prism in, but 4 Stalkers can't take those upgrades down. What they can do, though, is target down some SCVs. I mean, some bio is going to need to come up here and deal with it. Yep, few workers going down. This is important for MaxPax, though, because Clem's economy is actually pretty solid. And MaxPax's third base is feeling quite a bit later than he'd normally expect it to be. But even killing 5 workers, Clem is still ahead on SCVs. Oh, MaxPax is going to blink in now, though. Going for this tech lab that is combat shields, unfortunately for him. But he's going to get the tech lab number 2 anyways, and Stimpak goes down. Oh, Clem. Oh, no, look at his Sim City. Absolutely just, oh, no, dude. You ever been cock-blocked by your Sim City? Clem has. These units couldn't get through. This depot is closed. He couldn't get out here. I turned Canadian for a second there. He couldn't get out there. And that means Stim and combat shields are so far away now. Stalkers are going to blink in, and Clem is doing such a good job holding. But MaxPax keeping that pressure on, taking down the second bunker. When those Stim, it's so hard to fight against this. More Stalkers are going down, though. Again, MaxPax being a little bit more careless than I expect him to be here. He's lost 12 Stalkers. I feel like MaxPax is I don't know. I don't think he's happy with his performance right now. Clem threatening to push across the map, bringing even a siege tank with this, but decides to pull it back. He's got a 3rd command center, but he could go take a 3rd base. Just nothing to deal with this Prism. No Viking out or anything. And no Stim. So these Stalkers can just micro like infinitely against this. Four more SCVs going down. Honestly, though, the worker count is still like dead even. And Clem still has more army supply. Stalling this out has been so good for MaxPax. Oh my god, 11 probes. What is happening here? Widowmine drops, getting 11 probe kills. Clem finding some damage where it felt like there wasn't any. And now MaxPax down very far economically and also very far in terms of the army supply as Stim and Combat Shields finally finish, as well as Clem's +1 armor. This has taken so long. Clem's about to have 1-1 to 0 upgrades from MaxPax. And MaxPax looks like he wants to maybe try to dive in here. The tank's going to get jumped on. There's only one Marauder to support it. But that's because the rest of Clem's army is out here. And MaxPax knows it. He's getting counterattack damage done. He's going for it. Okay. This is like base trade city over here. Oh, Widowmine's going to kill the Prism. He doesn't get the connection instead. Almost killing all of his SCVs. Oh my god, that is brutal. The CC goes down to the Stalkers as they recall home. I don't think this Colossus is ever going to come out or see the light of day. The main base has a few Stalkers at it, but it looks like the rest of the army might have recalled down here. Where is the Colossus? It's still on the other side of the map. Oh, Clem might have too much. He's taken so much damage back at home, but doesn't matter if MaxPax can't hold, and he doesn't have the army to hold right now. I don't think these Stalkers can do it on their own. That Colossus, it's walking across the map. Well, Clem's going to lift up and boost out of there. A dangerous move, but he does get away. 39 probes have gone down. MaxPax is on 3 Nexuses to the 2 command centers, but it's 46 workers to 14, and look at that army supply. 89 to 42. Sometimes, guys, it's hard to tell who's winning, but then you just look at the. You look at the. And the soup does not lie. 142 to 62. That is a pretty massive difference. Clem over double the supply of MaxPax in every conceivable way. And it looks like MaxPax is going to counterattack again. But, like, how does he stop from losing absolutely everything? He's catching a couple of units here, catching a couple of units there. Clem goes in and sees that there is just no probes here. And MaxPax is forced to tap out. There it is. A little bit of sloppy blink micro, uncharacteristic from MaxPax, but honestly, the early game went all right for him. Stalling out Stim, stalling out Combat Shields. But once that counterattack was coming across, it took a while. But Clem just had so much stuff. MaxPax decided the counterattack was the way to go. But as much damage as he got done, his opponent got more. And now we're getting into game 3. We're all tied up. We're going to Oceanborn. I'm glad we're on game 3. That means we at least get a 4-game series. I'm glad we're tied up, I should say. I want to see all the maps we can. Hopefully we get all 5. I hope we get some funky ones too. That's the other thing that I think differs between the European players and Korean players a lot is most of the European players will just pick the most standard feeling maps. Whereas I feel like Korean players a lot of times will just pick anything. Like Dark is the kind of player that I feel like he'll favor a map that everybody else is like, well, that's terrible for Zerg. That's a bad map for Zerg. CVT, you can't win on that map. And Dark will just pick it just because he likes it. And then he'll win on the map, you know? Some players are just like that. Mostly Dark. We're going to Oceanborn, which is a fairly standard map. This is actually the one I was thinking about, that the middle of the map is kind of similar to the middle of the last map. I'll take a look when we get in here, but this map and the last map feel comparable in a number of ways. But they are also very different. I know that means a lot when I say things like that. Well, let's go ahead and introduce our players here. You know them. You'll love them. Sidestorm Gaming's Maxi Baxi. And of course, lower right, Team Liquid's Clem. So the natural setup is very different. You have the no ramp here, but the ramp nearby. And I think taking a third is a lot easier on this map. Defending 3 bases on this map feels very easy compared to a lot of other maps. But the center of the map, again, it's just feels similar to what we saw last game, right? We've got the narrow choke between the 2 rocks. We've got these ramps up with the rocks on them. Again, it is a little bit different, but just kind of has a bit of a similar feel to it. This map, again, we've got kind of the north and the south side with lots of open space to run around. One thing that's worth noting is there is kind of a direct attack path straight from natural to third base. So while running through the middle here might be a little tough, these ramps are open. So you do have that straight across push path. And Clem dropping the entry bay, which MaxPax has not spotted yet. And he's going to go down and see it right now. And he's going to be annoyed, because he spotted that too late to want to pull the probes against it. Sorry, I'm still zoomed out. Which means he's going to have to take a third base. Oh, and he's taking this third base. Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Clem is very much not expecting that, because this surprises me a lot. I mean, I talked about it already, right? Holding these 3 bases feels very easy. If your army is situated here for your natural, it's not much of a difference to have it situated here. And then you can cover both your natural and your third by splitting the location. However, here, MaxPax now, if he wants to situate his army to defend this base, it has to be able to defend from this ramp. So it can't be very far away. But that means that this area is very exposed. I don't know if I love this choice for MaxPax. We'll see how it goes. I feel like, though, it might mess up Clem's plans a little bit. I talked about how you can get straight from your natural ramp to your opponent's third, and I think that was Clem's idea behind this build, was sending the Cyclones straight through the map right to his opponent's base. Now it's a bit weird, right? You can't get straight there. You have to kind of go around. You have to pick which path to go through, which means you might have some vulnerable areas here. These rocks make it impossible to just easily sneak up to this high ground, but you kind of can anyways. And I feel like that's going to be Clem's plan. He's got Hellions coming out after this, but it is the double Cyclone opener. Meantime, MaxPax is going for Oracles. But Oracle's not particularly good. I don't know how they fare against the new Cyclone. And it looks like Clem's just not going to worry about the high ground. He's going straight in. Shield battery going to help out quite a bit here. Ah, but the micro is fancy. Clem's got the fancy micro. And here we go. We finally got some new patch stuff really coming into play. Probes going down. Ooh, the Oracle coming in. The Oracle can do some decent damage to the Cyclones, but can it catch the Cyclones? Oh no, everything is dying. MaxPax. He wasn't ready for this. The shield battery is out of juice. The probes are getting pulled, trying to kill this Cyclone, but GG. And Clem pulls out the build, man. This is what we're looking for. This is what we've been excited for with new builds. And MaxPax, he's the kind of player, yes, he can think about new and interesting ways to utilize the tools at his disposal. But a lot of how MaxPax plays is he plays very greedily often, and he almost dares his opponent to attack him. And he is very practiced at handling every possible attack that his opponent could throw at him. It's very rare to surprise MaxPax, but on a new patch like this, with new maps, surprise can be a lot easier to do. And I think Clem caught him really off guard with that. I don't think MaxPax has seen that yet. That specific thing, you know, on that specific map. And that's something now he's got to start to factor in to his builds. And I think he will. But it's cool to get to catch it kind of right at the beginning. Clem hits him with something that he's just not ready for. And for a player like MaxPax, it's just astronomically rare. I've seen MaxPax lose a lot of games. Very, very seldomly has it been because he didn't know what was coming. He didn't know how to defend a push or a harassment. Anyways, I love seeing that. And that means we have match point for one of our players. Let's hop into hard lead. We're on match point in the upper left-hand corner. We have Team Liquid's Clem. And his opponent in the lower right, Sidestorm Gaming, it's MaxPax. I like the texture on here. I don't know if it's just my settings, but it does, like, I don't want to say it glitches, but it kind of changes. You see that? Yeah, it does that kind of stuff. It kind of changes how the light reflects off of it, depending on where you're looking at it or how you're looking at it. It's very interesting. I don't understand how it works. It must be a thing with textures in this game. Like, this looks higher res than this. But I don't know. But let's take a look at hard lead. We have a tight little choke point here outside the natural. Very forward base you can take. These bases feel a little bit more exposed than, say, on the last map. A little bit harder maybe to hold both of these bases from a middle position, but still relatively easy to take third base or a triangle third that is kind of exposed to run-bys. I feel like run-bys from this area could be very, very strong. Forward fourth could be good for pushing out, but of course you're going to be very close to your opponent. We have rocks and vision blockers in the middle of the map. A lot of the middle of the maps kind of have this look, and I think it's to make it, I don't know, a little bit more interesting. It's always nicer to see players moving around the top side and bottom side of the map, I think. We try to facilitate that. 7 bases on each side. We have some vision towers on the sides. So it's interesting because the middle of the maps are a little bit, you know, clunkier. You have all the rocks, you've got vision blockers and ramps. We're going to see a lot more action, generally speaking, I think, on the tops and bottoms, making these towers very, very important, actually. I think this map might be a little bit tough to take, you know, all those fringe bases, which is kind of expected. It might be doable to do 5 bases. The hard thing is getting between these two. You have a big cliff here. And even back around to this side. That's kind of interesting. Be good to see what happens on this map. Clem not going for the double Cyclones again. Oh, did MaxPax and Clem play on the new patch recently? That's cool. They played a best-of-7 show match on Pig's channel. Okay, so they are getting familiar with it then. That's good to know. You never really know how much players are practicing on new maps and new patches. The thing is, until the patch drops, which was today on 2 of our 3 regions and just like less than a week ago on North America, until it drops, a lot of the tournaments are going to be on old maps on the old patch. And for some players, they don't want to practice the new stuff until it's ready to go because it gives them a better chance of winning the old map tournaments, right? But for some players, as soon as there's new stuff, they're practicing it. PTR, they're ready to go, they're on it. Immediately thinking about new stuff they can do. And they'll still play in tournaments on old maps. But they're really focused on the new stuff. It's just hard to know who is doing that, you know, who's practicing on new maps, unless you're talking to them actively. Or some of them are a bit more vocal about it. But, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell who has been practicing with new stuff. Clearly, Clem had that build last game, so he's starting to really get into the new patch. I'm sure MaxPax has been playing quite a bit on it, too. Wouldn't surprise me. But we have another, it looks like a 3-gate blink play here out of MaxPax. Solid choice. Single Widow Mine drop out of Clem as he's getting into tanks and Marines back at home, building his 2nd and 3rd barracks. I love that. I'm pretty sure every single game so far, the Widow Mine drop has just flown over this pylon that MaxPax puts down, but Clem just says screw it and goes there anyways. And then he's going to go hide in this corner again. Oh, we can take a look at the new doodads, too. We have different doodads here. Some construction going on. A dead Ultra hanging out by a fire. It's kind of cool. I want to see what this sign says. But we're going to watch these Stalkers blink into the main first and get a couple of kills. Maybe some SCVs, maybe some Marines. Just one Marine. All right, let's look back here. What does the sign say? Workers. Something workers. I think it just says workers, but there's dirt on the top. There you go. Workers. A lot of construction going on in this jungly, foresty place. Is that a mule? It's like a big mule. Look at that guy. It's always fun to look at doodads on the new maps. Even on maps you've been on for a while, it's still, you can find new stuff. The Stalker's starting to hit. MaxPax does have a third base with this, though, so he is not committed to this. This is just 3-gate blink. A little bit easier to expand behind it than the 4-gate blink, but also less likely to get damage done. These tech labs are a little bit less exposed this game than last game, or than game 2 rather. I feel like that game 2, Clem was not using that map fantastically. Oh my God, was that a kill? Oh man, MaxPax gets the kill on the command center there. Clem slow on the draw. Not something that usually happens to him. And that's 400 minerals down the drain. Cancel would only have been 100. That is insane. That's a huge value right now for MaxPax, who has so far played a perfect game. He hasn't even canceled anything. Still nothing. 900. 900 to 0. Perfect game. Insane. What a god. But Clem's going to push across now. His stim and combat shields are done. He's lost a few Marines on the way across. Still hasn't killed a single thing. 1050 to 0 now. Wild. The only problem for MaxPax is this is a powerful army. He does have one Colossus out. Second one is about to pop. There's the scan. But Clem's got the Raven, and he researched Interference Matrix, which is good. Actually, did he? Wait, hold on. No, he didn't. Oh, no. Clem forgot to research the new upgrade. Oh, no, Clem. Oh, huge mistake. The Raven can still drop auto turrets, but that is about all it can do. And that's all it does. Oh, Clem. The blunder on the new patch. So Interference Matrix, so crucial against the Colossi to shut them down. You have to research it at the tech lab now. And I think he just forgot because that Raven flew in like it was going to do something and did nothing. That pylon's a huge kill, though. It's 2 gateways plus the all-important Robo. But the 2 Colossi out are still holding strong for now. The Stalkers blink forward, though. Widowmine going to punish them for that. And the Bio reinforcements show up. Does MaxPax have enough to hold on? He's turned on the Super Shield Battery to keep the Colossi alive. Bio, though, just going to pull back from those Colossi and fight out here a little bit. Oh, the Bio stims forward. The Stalkers warp in. Widowmine goes off on that Prism. MaxPax's army supply is starting to dwindle pretty heavily. As the Colossus goes down, he finally gets a new one out. And he actually pushed into this, though. Not a lot of bio left over, but the tank and the Widowmines are still here holding strong. So more bio reinforcements can show up. Oh, these Marauders can do it, man. They can take it down. Widowmine's trying to save him against the Zealots. The tank will finally fall, but the Colossus is going to fall as well. The Marauder's a little too good, but I think that's going to be the end of this push. No, Clem's sticking around, microing fancily. Fancy foot, happy feet. That ain't Clem. All right, another Colossus comes out. Clem's picking off probes now, though. Oh, and there's enough bio. He's going to stim forward, but the overcharge on the shield battery is going to be a little too good. Blink forward from the Stalkers, getting a couple more kills. This is so tight right now. MaxPax barely holding on. Every warp in is crucial. He finally got these gateways back up so he can warp in a big round of Zealots, and that's going to be enough to pull Clem backwards. His reinforcements getting killed as well. And I think Clem's got to back out of here. MaxPax will let him kill that pylon, but With 2 Colossi out and more Warpins available for MaxPax, the army supply is climbing back up for the Protoss. He isn't on a great economy, though. 51 workers. Clem, during all of this, has taken his 3rd base. He's mule hammered the crap out of it. Oh my god. 6 mules here. His income is huge right now. That is insane. Not only is he up workers, but he's muling. But this is exactly what I was talking about. I said this base was vulnerable to run-bys, and I was not joking. The Zealots come in here. But Clem, he's too good, man. His reinforcements pushing him away. Only a couple of SCVs going down. MaxPax's going to clean up that mine. Oh, the hot pickups of those 2 Zealots in the Prism. I can't believe he saved those. MaxPax's trying to take this 4th base now, but it is the forward 4th base. Feels like a bit of a dangerous base to take. Feels a bit exposed, if I'm honest. Especially if Clem kills this and pushes straight this way. I actually wouldn't hate to see that, because he could rally through here so quickly that MaxPax might have a tough time holding. But I don't think he knows that base is there yet. Yeah, he hasn't exactly scouted it. Oh, we're hearing ghosts coming out. That is a good sign for the Terran. MaxPax is definitely playing catch-up right now, but he's got some crucial things in his favor. Some DTs moving out on the map right now. Those really messed Clem up in game 1. Disruptors are coming out to join up with the Colossus Stalker army. Again, these are all things that worked out very well for MaxPax in the first game. But in game 1, he was ahead economically for the majority of that game. And this time, Clem is way ahead in a lot of ways. This will be a big economic hit, but we're seeing all 3 of those DTs go down immediately. I guess there's still one out here, but only 3 SCVs dying. The DT is not getting it done this time. We'll see if the follow-up ones can get any damage done, but that's not great value for MaxPax, who already has not traded well this game. Economically, he's finally caught up, but it might be too late. Clem's army is 50 supply bigger than MaxPax's, and he's starting to push up this ramp. Disruptor Nova, oh my god, but the split. The split. The second Nova coming out. Clem still paying attention, though. Doesn't eat any damage. The EMPs, the shield battery overcharge isn't going to be enough right now. And MaxPax's army supply is starting to drop. The Colossi getting shoved backwards by the Vikings, by the Bio. They're doing their best, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Is there enough here for MaxPax to hold on? The answer is no, and Clem takes the 3-1 victory over MaxPax on the new maps, the new patch. Clem still top dog.